What's going on, guys? It is Bernardo, and you just saw a quick unboxing on Lenovo's ThinkPad Z13 Generation 1 laptop. So what comes inside the box? You get this nice little smart feature pamphlet. You have your safety and warranty guide right here. You have your recovery media pamphlet. Awesome. For Windows 11 Pro. Then you have your ThinkPad Z13 Generation 1 setup guide. Pretty simple. Awesome. You have your power cable. And then you have your 65-watt power adapter with a Type-C connection. Now I'm going to take the power adapter and the power cable and I'm going to hook it up. Awesome. And let's put this stuff to the side. Then last but not least, we have the Lenovo ThinkPad Z13 Generation 1 laptop weighing around 2.7 pounds with a thickness of 0.63. This thing is beautiful. Okay, so for ports and features on the Z13 Generation 1 laptop, if you have the laptop facing you to the point that you're able to open it up like this, on your right hand side, you have your headphone mic audio combo jack. You have your power button as well as a Type-C connection. On your left-hand side, you only have one Type-C, which allows you to hook up your power. All right, so it's time for us to turn this guy on. So let's open this guy up real slow. I'm going to use the notch with one thumb. It's pretty easy to open it up. Look at that, how beautiful. 13.3, beautiful. Again, the power button is located on your right-hand side, so we're going to press this guy on. Awesome. One of the things I do not like about the Z13 off the bat when I was testing it out is the boot time. It takes forever to load up. Now, there's several ways to log into the Z13 Generation 1 laptop. You're able to take advantage of the full HD using Windows Hello, which right now it's looking for me. And you are able to use the fingerprint scanner, which is actually located right here. I'm going to try to log into the machine using my finger. Sometimes it actually works and sometimes it doesn't. Right now, it's not recognizing it. All right, so let's take a closer look on the ThinkPad Z13 Generation 1 laptop. Let's talk about the trackpad. Now, the trackpad is a haptic glass trackpad with integrated navigational buttons. At first, when I was touching it, the first thing that came in mind was the MacBook and the way that their trackpads actually feel and look. Now, the measurement on this trackpad is pretty large with a measurement of 4.73 inches. Now, normally I was using a Type-C adapter. I hooked up my Type-C adapter and I was just using a USB mouse. I wasn't too comfortable using the trackpad because I felt like it was really sensitive, but eventually when I got used to it, I was using it a lot more. Now, the keyboard on the Z13 Generation 1 was super responsive. I really enjoy using it. I didn't have any issues at all. For the key measurement between each key, I got around 0.07 inches. You do have the signature ThinkPad track point right there between the G and the H key. Now, the keyboard on the Z13 Generation 1 laptop is backlit with the following settings. It's not too bright, but it is there for you to use. And for speakers on the Z13, they're actually located right here at the bottom on your left and your right hand side. Now, the loudness that I got on these speakers is around 89.2 decibels, which is pretty solid, especially if you have the laptop on a hard surface. The sound is going to bounce off and just hit you right in the face with some good quality audio. Now, for the display on the Z13 Generation 1, it has a resolution of 1920 by 1200 with a measurement of 13.3 IPS display. Now, this guy is touchscreen, which I did not use as much, but it is there for you to use. Now, if you want to know the brightness level right now, I think this is the highest and this is the lowest that you could go on the Z13. If you want to know the nit level is around 400 on this particular display. The display is HDR enabled, but within the Windows setting. So most likely make sure you have it plugged in with the power adapter, and you can only stream HDR on this particular laptop. Now at the top of the 13.3 display, you're going to get this notch. And this notch right here is housing full HD 1080p webcam, which is really great. I actually got some footage, raw footage using the webcam, as well as taking advantage of the built-in dual mics that are located at the top of the notch. So let's take a look at that.
All right, so we are testing out the webcam, the integrated webcam built on the Z13. This guy is a full HD with a resolution of 1920 by 1080 with an f-stop of 1.2. And it looks really sharp, raw footage. I'm also using the built-in mics, which is on top of the notch where the webcam is located, and I'm really liking the way it looks. Pretty decent. I feel like the webcam has like a wide angle view because I'm able to like step right here and you're able to see like everything. Like, whoa, that's crazy. I feel like Lenovo really stepped up their game with this particular laptop, and the webcam 1080p. That's awesome.
Now, one thing I did notice on the Z13 Generation 1, it does not have a privacy guard. It doesn't really have one of those physical things like a think shutter to close it, but it does have an e-shutter. So if you press F9 on the keyboard, this is how you turn it off. It's really, really weird. So if I turn on right now, if I go to start and let's locate the camera, it's going to actually say it's off. If I do F9 again, it turns it back on. Hey guys, and let's press it again. That's your e-shutter. All right, so we just went over the trackpad. We went over the keyboard and the display and the webcam on the Z13 Generation 1 laptop from Lenovo. So let's talk about the performance. So I am actually going to right click on the taskbar and let's go into Task Manager. And within Task Manager, let's open it up a little bit. Awesome. We're going to go inside the Performance tab and let's go to CPU. I'm going to right click on the CPU, change graph to Logical Processor. And this guy is actually running the AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 6850U with the Radeon graphics processor. Now the base clock speed is 2.70 gigahertz with one socket, 8 cores, 16 logical processors. This guy is a beast. CPU power, it has it right there, which is awesome. Now for memory, is actually housing 16 gigs, which works really well if you're working with multiple programs at the same time. For hard drive space, you have a solid state drive, which is around 512 gigs. I think the max that you could get is around 1 terabyte. Now for the graphics card, it only has the AMD Radeon TM graphics. It's not really high end, like a really gaming graphics. And talking about gaming, I actually gamed with this laptop playing Fortnite, and with or without the power supply, it was extremely laggy. It was to the point that I was losing a lot when I was playing with my son, playing Fortnite, and it was just a bad experience. The way that I played with this laptop, I hooked up my Type-C adapter, hooked up my USB controller, and I played that way, but it was horrible. Now for video editing, I did do some Photoshop and some Adobe Premiere on it. I did notice a little bit of lag. I actually took some advice of someone, left a comment on one of my videos, and they said, why you don't do Puget system testing? And I did do that with Premiere. I did After Effects, and I think with After Effects, it actually crashed. And I did some Photoshop, and the numbers, the scores was horrible. Now for heating on the Z13, I did notice a lot of heating around this area, and the reason why is because there's a vent between the display and the keyboard, as well as there are vents at the bottom of it. Now the highest temperature reading that I got was about 111 degrees, which is pretty hot. And like I mentioned before, one of the things that I did notice that I did not like about this machine was the boot time. Like pressing that power button, you would think it would load up quickly with the solid state drive, but it wasn't. It was pretty slow, as well as turning it off. All right, so let's talk about the battery life on the Z13 Generation 1. So let's close the Task Manager. And let me tell you, I was super surprised on this particular ThinkPad. Out of all the ThinkPads that I did review for you guys, this one is the best with the battery life. So as always, I like to use PCMark 10 to do my battery life. And the first one was about Modern Office battery, and it took around 12 hours and 11 minutes. Now, The second test I typically do is video battery life. Again, another 12-hour, 43 minutes. 12 hours. Seriously, this guy actually lasts around 12 hours. And the last test was all about gaming without the power supply. 3 hours and 14 minutes. It all depends on what type of gaming that you were doing. But when I was playing Fortnite with my son, it lasts between, I would say, 2 hours. But the battery on this particular machine is a beast. One of the best battery lives on the ThinkPad lineup. Awesome. All right, so let's conclude our review on the ThinkPad Z13 Generation 1 laptop. Now, this guy is amazing, but the price tag is pretty expensive, retailing at $1355. And it all depends on how you get it configured, because they do come with different models on the display, as well as you want to bump up the hard drive and the memory. It will get kind of expensive. Now, overall experience on this machine, I really loved it. I enjoyed using it. It's a lightweight machine, weighing around 2.7 pounds. I'm able to take it anywhere. Plus the size, 13.3 inches, is not that bad. One of the things I do not like about this laptop is the boot time, which I mentioned a couple of times during the video, as well as the lack of ports. It only has two ports, two Type-C ports. I mean, two Type-C ports that are extremely fast, but that means I have to carry an additional device, which is that Type-C adapter, which allows me to hook up USB drives, or I'm able to hook up an Ethernet and go hardwire on this if I do not want to use the wireless. And that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review on Lenovo's ThinkPad Z13 Generation 1 laptop, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.